conversation shifted to her dad. And I was in my mind's eye and thinking, why all of a sudden is this woman who I've never met starting to talk about her father? Because there was something else that happened that night besides Frosty. And I really couldn't put my finger on it. I was, still coming out of coma, just realizing what had happened to me. My whole life was destroyed, everything. And she says, my father and I were very close, and he helped me through medical school. He was a bright man, and we could almost read each other's thoughts, and we were so very close. And she said the only thing he was living for was to see my first child. And she said, I was pregnant with my first child, a boy, and my father was just living for that moment. And 6 months before I had my baby, he died suddenly of an aneurysm. And she said, ever since then, Rob, I've lost my spirituality. I'm Hindu. I had a great spirituality, and, I've been bitter about that. And I'm thinking, why is this woman telling me all this? And then she said, but, seeing you here today alive, because there's no way you should be alive, gives me hope, just gives me hope that there's something else out there. And in that moment, it hit me. The puzzle kind of unscrambled. And then I knew, because while she was working on me, another male spirit had entered the room. And all I could hear over and over and over again was, keep working on him. Don't give up. You can save him. Keep working on him. You can save him. And it struck me in that moment that it was her father. And although she didn't hear him, there was something that compelled her not to give up. And I knew in that moment that it was her father right beside her, always had been beside her, and, telling her spiritually, keep going, keep working on him, keep working on him. And when I told her that, of course, and by the way, I didn't tell her in that moment because I knew she would have thought I was crazy. I actually didn't tell her that story until a year later when I came back from Chicago, where I got my heart, and I met her in the cafeteria with a dozen roses, and we sat down and I told her that story. And that's when she broke down. And now every year on his birthday, we make an effort to talk to each other, because it changed her whole life. It turned her around in terms of her own spirituality and connecting with that again. So it was beautiful.